Hi everybody, my name is Robert and today I'm going to do a quick video finishing my impressions on running ethanol on the Subaru or Scion FRS, in my case the Subaru BRZ. I'm going to just talk about the pros and the cons about my experience. I've had the E-85 and Stage 2 tune for about 6 months or so, and I'm gonna go ahead and go on a quick drive. I'm here at Azusa Mountain and speak about the pros and just a few cons in case you are wondering or thinking of switching over to ethanol or running a Stage 2 off-the-shelf tune for your car. So I've had ethanol, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about a few of the modifications I have to the car. Make sure nobody's coming. I have, so far as you probably can hear, an invidia N1 catback exhaust with Borla unequal length headers and a open flash tablet off the shelf Stage 2 tune running E-85. Right now I'm running full E-85. I don't have a flex fuel kit. I also have not upgraded any of the fuel lines. Everything as stock. I am just running E-85 and the tune that allows the car's ECU to go ahead and run E-85. So starting off with the pros, the first and major one, and one of the reasons why everybody should switch to E-85 if you can, of course, is the power. When you get when you get headers and exhaust for your 2.0 Boxer, it typically opens up the potential of the engine and it wakes it up just a bit. And when you introduce E-85 into your equation, you know what, I'm running wide lens. Let me go ahead and cut it to right here for better quality. When you do run E-85, you do get more of the power potential out of this car, and you do definitely, once you do switch over to E-85, feel the difference when you're on the highway and when you're starting from a stop. And the way I would compare this is, if you do have this platform, you do know that our main competitors are minivans, Camrys, and other little cars, right? Which is a running joke. But when you do switch to this platform, you kind of start standing your ground against the Camrys, the Altimas, the Corollas. Well, the Corollas and the Civics, you kind of start beating relatively quickly, and then you do start standing your ground against those larger cars with the V6s, and that's the advantage of having E-85. I do want to say the car doesn't turn into an 8-cylinder car. I think I've said this in my previous video. It doesn't turn into a twin turbo V6. It still very much is a 4-cylinder car. However, it wakes up. You definitely feel it. You will feel it. If you do switch over to E-85, you will feel the car more responsive. Another way I would say it is when we are on the freeway in 6th gear and we want to accelerate, we typically have to shift down to 5th or 4th. E-85 allows you to kind of pass while being in 6th gear. That being said, you're not, going to be accelerating extremely quickly, but the car has enough power now to get out of its way in 6th gear, and that's the best way to describe it. It's a very, 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 very good difference. The next comment about power is power at high elevations is also a big difference. Before any modifications to the car, these Subaru BRZs and the FRSs kind of lose their breath up here in any sort of mountain area or any sort of hills. When you do introduce E-85 and you get the headers, you get more air going into the engine. When you start doing a lot of these changes in the combination with each other, in sync, I guess, the car definitely is happier, and that's one of the things I would say about. Let me switch down to gear. I'm in 6th. I was doing 5th for noise. but I guess I can stay in 5th. At high elevations, the car now feels like it has its breath, like it can move, like it's happier. I just feel that the car is much more responsive and it's a lot more happy on the tune, on E85, and with headers and an exhaust. The other pro is that E85, I live right here in Southern California, and close to Los Angeles. There's plenty of E85 stations near my house. There's about 2 within, a mile or 2 of my house. So that's one of the main reasons why I was encouraged to switch over to E85 without having a flex fuel kit, because of the availability of E85 near my house. That is, however, tied to a con that I will list a little bit later. There's another car approaching me in the back, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a little bit of distance. Ooh, oversized load. Nice. I have a box, a subwoofer box in the trunk, and it's unsecured, and it's one of the main reasons why I'm not kind of going too fast. And I'm also waiting on some brakes that are going to come in this week. So this is one of the perfect opportunities to create a video on my updated impressions on this system. Let me go ahead and turn off the air in case it's creating noise. Hopefully it's not. But those are one of the bigger cons. The power definitely is there, and the E85 is generally cheaper than regular gas. And then one of the other pros that I was going to list that is not going to be a pro for everybody, but it definitely is for car enthusiasts, at least car enthusiasts like me. The smell of E85. Once you have your headers and your ethanol, you can smell the ethanol on startups, and you can smell the car from behind when you're accelerating, and that's a pro for me. I think it smells cool. I think it just adds a cool factor. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a pro for everybody, but I decided to list it because you can definitely tell when you're on ethanol based off the smell of your car. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some cons, because I feel they're important for everybody to know if they do want to switch over to this E85 and headers and exhaust, kind of the basic bolt-ons that everybody does to this platform. The first con is the fuel does waste quicker. Although it is cheaper, you are going to be fueling up at the station quite more often. I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, but now that I've had this kind of setup, it's more emphasized. You are fueling up more often. Right now I'm at 3/4 tanks, and I fueled up, to the top before coming up here. And again, I'm not running hard, so that just kind of shows the fuel does waste quicker. However, it's not the biggest con, and it definitely does not outweigh the pros. Oh, nice car. Oh god, that's a GTR. It definitely does not outweigh the pros that come with this setup. Now, the last con that I am going to mention, the second and last con, is one of the biggest cons that that can have a fix, but is a con nonetheless for the setup that I have now. The lack of E85 stations make road trips and long trips kind of difficult to plan. So, an example is, I went to a 4-hour trip this past weekend, 2 weeks ago actually, and I had to go to 91 again because there was not E85 stations on my way to my route. There was about one, but it was I was not going to risk one security E85 station. So I just switched over the WRX. I just switched over to 91, and again, you lose a lot of the benefits of E85, and that is one of the cons, that you are constantly worried about where you're going to fill up if you don't have a flex fuel kit like my setup. And so even if you're not going to long trips, sometimes you'll look down and realize you need to get gas, and you're not as close as you want it to be from your local E85 stations. So it's just, getting familiar with where E85 stations are, and making sure you're always safe on fuel, because if you don't have your little tuner on you, your little tablet, you're out of luck. But the video is kind of getting to that 10-minute mark, which is usually what I like to kind of cut it off at. So those are my basic impressions 6 months later. I have switched over to regular 91, and I'm back on E85. Right after that trip, I went straight to the gas station, switched over to E85 because of how much I miss how the car behaved. Now, down the line, I may upgrade the lines, I may upgrade the fuel system, but as of now, because I don't let the car sit for long periods of times, I am not too worried about corrosion or anything like that. But down the line, if I were to keep this car in a garage while I drive another vehicle, I definitely would think about that corrosion affecting the car. So those are my updated impressions. If you guys have any questions, about the setup, about my experience, any questions regarding tuning, I have mentioned before, the tuning process is easy. I'm a knucklehead when it comes to technology, and it's very doable for literally anybody if you have a PC, or you can get your hands on one for an hour or two. But that is all. Again, if you have any questions, I look forward to answering them or to try to help you guys out. Other than that, have a great day, everybody, and keep going.